Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the second video in this video series. In this video, we will talk about how to make Nuqta or Nuqat in Arabic calligraphy. But before I start with how to make Nuqta or Nuqat, let's talk about what these Nuqta or Nuqat are. Arabic calligraphy is measured. Every letter you write has certain measurements associated with it, or a unit of measurement associated with it. Like the way we measure any commodity, maybe anything like you measure in tons or kilos or grams or liters. Similarly, we have a commodity called Arabic calligraphy script called thuluth, and the measurement unit of that commodity is called a nuqta. A nuqta is nothing but a dynamic square that is used to measure the letters. And you make a nuqta with the qalam, the same qalam that you use to write the letters. This is a nuqta, the one that is used to measure letters in Arabic calligraphy. Okay? Now that we've known what is a nuqta, let me show you how you basically measure it, okay, and how you basically make it rather. For that, I'll go back to my scale and marker and explain you the angle the way I explained in the previous video. Again, we are working with approximation, so please bear with me. The angle of impact for making any letter, or rather most common angle of impact for making letters, is 80 degree, as I explained in the previous video. Here, the angle that you use to make the nuqta is different, and that is 45 degree. So I keep the qalam at 45 degree and I bring it down towards my right hand side like that. Okay, again at 45 degree, and I bring it down towards my right hand side. That. So that's basically how you make the nuqta. Keep the qalam at 45 degree and drag it down towards the right hand side. Okay. The next topic of discussion for today's video is how do you make subsequent nuqta. What do I mean by that is, obviously, if you're measuring a letter, it's not going to be just one nuqta tall or one nuqta deep or one nuqta wide. Okay, it has to have several nuqat in it. Like for example, dal has 3 nuqat in width and 4.5 or 5 nuqat in the height. So how do you make these subsequent nuqta? Okay, let me demonstrate that. Okay, this is the first nuqta. Now observe carefully. This nuqta has 4 corners, like every other nuqta would. This, 2, 3, and 4. 2 are sideways and 2 are, one is up, the other is down. Okay. Now, if you want to make horizontal nuqta, that is the nuqta, subsequent nuqta is here, then this point becomes very important, because that is where you'll keep the shorter part of the qalam and make the next nuqta, which is going to be the subsequent one. And you continue doing this for as long as you have to. Okay? Now what about vertical nuqta? What happens when you make vertical nuqta? How do you make that? Again, it's quite simple. Allow me to demonstrate. I'm making this additional nuqta so that I start making vertical nuqta after this. Again, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 corners. In order to make nuqta vertically, now if you want to make a nuqta below this, you'll keep the taller part of the qalam at the bottom corner of the first nuqta and then make the subsequent nuqta. This. Similarly, somehow, let's say if you have to make nuqta above the first nuqta, then you'll make sure you start somewhere here and you bring the qalam down till you reach this point. Okay, now what happens, of course, look, the nuqat will vary because I'm watching the video and doing it continuously, but once you make it, you should get good consistency. Let me try again. This is 1. I'm going to keep the taller part of the qalam here. This is 2. 3, 4, and you keep going. This is way more consistent. Okay, now I want to make horizontal nuqta. All I do is keep the shorter part of qalam towards the right hand corner of the previous nuqta, and I go horizontally. This keeps going that way. Now what if you have conflicting Meezan? Conflicting in the sense, if you have both vertical as well as horizontal nuqat in a letter, like for example the letter dal. Dal has 3 nuqta in width and 5.5 nuqta in height. So let's try and demonstrate that. So let's make the 3 nuqta first. Okay, now you've made the 3 nuqta of dal. The next Meezan that you make will be vertical. Now kindly note that you cannot start from here, because if you do start from here, your vertical Meezan will encroach into the horizontal Meezan, and as a result you'll only get 2 nuqta worth of space to make the letter. So instead what you do is you make a vertical line from the edge of the last nuqta. Okay, and you make a horizontal line from the edge of the top nuqta. Okay, here. Now this area is not possible for vertical Meezan, because if you make a nuqta here, this will become a horizontal Meezan. This area is not possible because if you make another nuqta here, you will encroach into the horizontal Meezan and you won't get all 3 nuqta space to write the letter. So the only quadrant left is this. So what would you do essentially is make sure that this taller part of the tip connects to this line and shorter part connects to this line, keeping the qalam at 45 degree, and make the first nuqta horizontally, and post that it's relatively easy. You can keep going like that. And roughly 5. Dal can have anywhere between 4.5 to 5 nuqta. I'm just going to make 5 for ease of understanding. Now let's try and make the stroke of the letter dal. Let me demonstrate. Of course, this is not the video where I'm teaching you dal. I just want to teach you how to make the nuqat. And I'm taking dal as an example. Bismillah. Okay, so that's how you basically make the letter in Meezan. Of course, excuse me for this. That always happens when I practice. Alright, so this concludes the video. Kindly go back to the video and watch it over and over again. This will require a few views for you to make sure that you get the factors right. Please make sure that you get the angles right. Please make sure that you get the measurements right. Make sure you make an adequate nuqta which looks like a proper, which looks like a proper square, and do not make something like this. This is wrong. You have to make sure that you make a proper squarish nuqta. Okay. Alright, if you have any questions, please do feel free to ask and I will reply. And do follow me on my Instagram page, which is Qalam Kagaz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.